Hi everyone, and welcome to this CIS 098-6 Cyber Defense lecture. Today we're focusing on cyber threat intelligence. And we're going to have a look at what cyber threat intelligence is and the different tools and techniques that we can use within the area of cyber threat intelligence, from tactical to strategic to operational. So, what is cyber threat intelligence? So cyber threat intelligence is information about threats and threat actors that we can use to help mitigate and prevent cyber threats. Cyber threat intelligence sources include open source intelligence, which is freely available, social media intelligence, which focuses on the types of information shared on social media networks such as Facebook, human intelligence that can be gathered through observation, technical intelligence, or intelligence from, for example, the deep and dark web. A question you might ask is, are there different types of cyber threat intelligence? And the answer is yes. There are three main overarching types of threat intelligence. The first is tactical, which is technical intelligence, which can include things like IP addresses, file names or hashes, which can be used to assist to identify threat actors. The second is operational, and the third is strategic, and we'll take a look at each of those in turn. Tactical cyber threat intelligence is technical intelligence, which can include indicators of compromise. So that could include things like IP addresses, file names or hashes, and these can be used in order to assist in the identification of threat actors, i.e. those who potentially pose a threat to the organizational systems and operations. Operational cyber threat intelligence includes details around the motivation of capabilities of those who might become threat actors, and they can include their tools, their techniques, and their procedures, and that gives us an insight into their mindset and the ways in which they may threaten our operational IT systems within our organization. The third kind of cyber threat intelligence that we take a look at is the strategic level, and that includes intelligence about the overarching risks that are associated with cyber threats, and they can help us to drive high-level organizational strategy. So that could be around risk management approaches and policies, the types of procedures that we have in the organization, or for example the use of an information security management system for protection. There are a number of important benefits that can come through cyber threat intelligence. Firstly, it empowers an organization to develop a proactive cybersecurity posture. That means that they are proactive, they put procedures in place, and they make sure that it's secure, and they're not sitting there to be reactive. This may, for example, benefit the risk management process that's being used by the IT department or the CEO. By using the cyber threat intelligence approach, we're also able to drive momentum from a predictive approach. That means that instead of just waiting and being reactive to threats, we actually put in place systems that can predict, systems that can make use of information, and ultimately make sure that we're prepared and prevent rather than react. The use of cyber threat intelligence can also improve decision making in the organization because it allows the detection of cyber intrusion. It informs and provides a basis for scenario planning, and it makes sure that people are on a predictive and proactive approach rather than just being reactive and sitting there waiting for it to happen to them. There are a number of key elements that make the focus of cyber threat intelligence. Firstly, it's evidence-based. So cyber threat evidence can be obtained through things like malware analysis to make sure that the threat is valid. Also make use of utilities. So we're trying to make sure we have a utility, a purpose for the organization, so that it has a positive impact. And finally, they must be actionable. So again, cyber threat intelligence should drive the security control action. There are a number of key components that are involved in cyber threat intelligence. And cyber threats could involve the use of computers, software and networks, so we could be talking about botnets. And during or after the cyber attack, there is technical information about the network and the computers between the attacker and the victim that we can use. Ultimately, we can also gain information about the sponsor of the attack, but that can often prove difficult. Cyber threat intelligence is an important tool in order to help us identify threat actors, put in place a proactive approach within the organisation, and to ensure that we're prepared and can understand as much as possible about what motivates attackers, the types of approaches they use, and how we can prevent attacks against our systems in our organisation.